Once you realize how rare food really is in the wild for every 365 days, it makes a lot more sense. Starvation and famine was a regular event for most of human history. Lose your own stash of food for a couple days, and you'll eat all sorts of things. I can't remember the exact quote, but in some Michael Pollan documentary or book he says something to the effect that sugar, salt and fat occur extremely rarely in nature. So our bodies are programmed to want as much of those things as we can get. In our modern world, where you have pretty much instant access to all of those things, boom, obesity epidemic. The fruit of the jimpai plant. It is also known as the suicide plant because its sting is so painful that there have been reports of people and animals killing themselves to escape the pain, which can last for days or even years. The sting is delivered by tiny hairs that cover the whole plant, yet someone was able to discover that if you painstakingly remove each hair from the fruit, it is edible. Someone wasted their fucking time. The cassava. However, cassava is poisonous unless it is peeled and thoroughly cooked. If it is eaten raw or prepared incorrectly, one of its chemical constituents will be attacked by digestive enzymes and give off the deadly poison cyanide. As little as 2 cassava roots can contain a fatal dose. 2 cassavas can feed a small family. Cashews. First, they come from a group that grows out of a false fruit called the cashew apple. So right off the bat, you'd never guess that it would be the part you'd eat. Cashew apples look kind of like a cross between an apple and a red bell pepper, just with a big, ugly dark brownish cashew in place of a stem. Second, the shells of cashew groups contain a substance that causes rashes and chemical burns on skin. So before you can even think of eating a cashew seed, which is what cashew nuts actually are, it has to go through a multi-step steaming and roasting process, just to totally burn off all the irritants. Wait, but I buy raw cashews all the time. Are they actually not raw then? Puffer fish. Only a small part of the fish is edible, and the rest is deadly poisonous, so how did they find out which bit was edible? Trial and error. Oysters. Someone looked at that snotty looking thing from a shell and thought, yeah, I'm gonna put that in my mouth. HMMM. Looks just like jellified grey sneezing matter from inside a seashell. Bound to taste salty. Doon it goes. Ugh, get me some lemon. Bread. Like, how did someone put all the ingredients together to make the bread? Exclamation. I think about it all the time. Yeah, there must have been a lot of trial and error involved. But you can see the thought process. They must have gone, look, there's all this grass like literally freaking everywhere, we're hungry, and there's no food about, so what if we took the grass, mash it up with water and stuff, then cook that? Chocolate. Legend has it that a conquistador asked for the beans, which were precious at the time, to be made into a drink, and when he tasted it, it was so bitter that he threw it into a fire, and the smell was so pleasant he had someone make another batch, but this time heated up, and with sugar. And that's how we got hot cocoa. No idea if it's true or not though. Coffee. Can't eat the beans as is, gotta roast them first. Whoops, not yet. Gotta grind them. Not quite right yet. Let's pour water over them and drink the water. Let's try using *hot water. Perfect. I'm so glad you asked. The legend goes that an Ethiopian goat farmer observed his goats acting energetically after eating the cherries off of a coffee tree, the original Arabica plant. He tried it, and the caffeine took effect. At first it was eaten. I don't recall if they cooked the beans first, or just ate them straight from the cherry. Over time, as we do, we experimented. They were medicinal for a time. Before it was coffee as we know it today, the roasted, ground beans were consumed with the hot water used to make it coffee, and to this day some still drink it that way as Turkish coffee. We learned how to separate the grounds from the water, and eventually how to create a stronger coffee drink using pressure, espresso. Wish I could remember when and where the very first coffee house and coffee cart came into existence, but it's not where one might assume. Hackle. Usually poisonous, unless prepared thus. The traditional method is by gutting and beheading a Greenland or sleeper shark and placing it in a shallow hole dug in gravelly sand, with the now cleaned cavity resting on a small mound of sand. The shark is then covered with sand and gravel, and stones are placed on top of the sand in order to press the shark. In this way the fluids are pressed out of the body. The shark ferments in this fashion for 6-12 weeks depending on the season. Following this curing period, the shark is then cut into strips and hung to dry for several months. During this drying period a brown crust will develop, which is removed prior to cutting the shark into small pieces and serving. This seems like way too much effort for fish fingers. Yogurt and cheese. It's like first of all they start drinking cow juice from cow titties. Then they save some for later. It goes off. Voila, cheese. Not even just that. Cheese needs rennet from an animal's stomach to turn into cheese. They were storing milk or curds or something in a nasty ass, improperly cured goat stomach or something and then decided to eat it when it turned solid. Acorns. How hungry one must be to figure out to pound them to powder and leach out the tannins. 3 times. Came here to say that. At Yosemite, I saw a demonstration of how the locals leached acorns. The process is days long, with many steps. Also, how the hell did Stone Age man discover nixtamalization of corn? If you don't do it, and you rely on corn as a primary food, you get a nasty deficiency disease, pellagra. Sea urchin. I was going to post this. I had it on sashimi before, not bad, but not good either. Regardless, that shit looks deadly when you see it in the water. Truffles. If the pigs are eating it, it must be fucking delicious. Lobsters. Well, this looks horrifying, I think I'll taste it. Land arthropods equals creepy and disgusting. Sea arthropods equals yummy. Makes sense, right? Nopales, a kind of cactus, and its fruit have been a staple in Mexico for millennia. I've always wondered what went through our ancestors' heads. That plant and its fruit is covered in thorns. I bet they are delicious. Probably, I've been in this fucking desert for 2 fucking weeks, and I'm out of fucking food, and God's fucking dammit there's a lot of needles I've got to pluck out of these death apples. Not exactly a food, but cocaine. I saw a show going through the process of making it. All I can think is, how did someone come up with the idea of mix stuff like gasoline and battery acid together and then dry it up to powder they could sniff? How? That last part is chemistry. The fact that the raw plant has stimulant/feel-good properties was known for long time. Some mushrooms that require special preparation. Eat it raw or cook it like most other shrooms and you end up dead. Boil it 3-5 times however, and it's fine. Okay, so boiling it once didn't work, and boiling it twice didn't work. But what if, and just hear me out, we tried boiling it a 3rd time? Not even ancestors. How did drinks like Guinness or Coke become a thing? Bro, try this. No. That drink is black. Yeah, good call. Vegemite is the same principle, but in that case it was literally created as a prank from brewery waste products, but then the pranky went, it's not bad though. Actually, I think I just answered the question. They did it on accident, or were tricked/goaded into trying it. They did, and when it didn't kill them the consumable caught on. I've had the same thought about any booze that is aged, like scotch. You can imagine the scene, some very thirsty ancient Scots come across a barrel in a cave, a barrel everyone had forgotten about. Let's see if it is still any good. Imagine the wide-eyed looks exchanged between the first tasters of that barrel. Artichoke. That purple thistle looks good. It's prickly and completely inedible. Maybe if I boil it for 45 minutes, then scrape it leaf by leaf against my teeth. Chili peppers. Like, imagine finding this pepper, taking a bite, and then feeling your entire mouth feel like it is on fire. Then you decide it's actually really good though, and start including it into dishes to add spice. Scrolled way too far down to find this. Consider that hot peppers fail every single edibility test. It irritates the skin, mouth, and bowels. By any survival guide's methods, you should not eat this thing. But we ate that shit anyway, probably on a dare.